Good afternoon, council members, Madam Mayor. Wanted to come and remind our city council this urgent issue of rent control, of stabilization, protection for our renters, of which make up 53% of this city. Need the support from our city council, from our community in general. We, in this effort of collecting a petition, collecting sign-offs, information from residents, we have encountered some stories. We continue to encounter story after story after story that demonstrates the resilience, the measures, the means of which our families, our Salinas families are taking in order for their children to survive. And it's conditions that end up separating families and conditions that end up compromising the well-being of the rest of our city. And I'm going to let the compañera speak more on our effort.
Mi nombre es Francisco Vasquez. Yo vivo en Distrito 5. Estamos aquí para recordarle que tome en cuenta todo lo que está pasando para que tome, ese es lo que estamos haciendo aquí. Y para nosotros es muy difícil estar aquí porque como ahorita ves que estaba lloviendo y todo, pero hacemos todo lo posible para estar aquí, que tome cuenta de control de renta porque la verdad estamos impactante en escuchar la comunidad durante el día que estuvimos saliendo afuera a hablar con la comunidad y escuchamos de muchas cosas para que haya un control de renta. Es muy emergencia para nosotros porque la verdad es muy impactante para nosotros y muchas gracias para permitir que estamos aquí a hablar con ustedes, pero que tomen en cuenta sobre de control de renta, que haya un control, por favor. Y aquí estamos para entregarle esta petición. Lo que hicimos son 700 la que voy a entregar.
My name is Francisco Vasquez, and I'm from District 5, and I'm here to remind you to please consider everything that has happened. It has been very hard. We need you to consider rent control. It is hard for us to come here. It's raining, but rent control is something important, and we have been talking with the community, hearing their stories, and it's really impactful to hear everything that is going on. Rent control is becoming an emergency. We really need you to consider it. Thank you for letting us come here and talk to you about it. And I have 700 petitions here that I am going to give to the city clerk.
Francisca would like to deliver this message in her language, Mixteco.
Yo ta kuntindo na concilio, ta kuntindo na tata na concilio ra yo ki ko Francisca Vasquez vi nya yo Salinas ta yo doña na con eso ondo tunka andoña na ko in control nya sha renta nya ta kuntina de Salinas chindura ko no ko renta ko ni no ya yo renta ra ku vini indo soncha vindo renta ta ku subi me tu yo ta kuntina na de Salinas ra kasanta yamane con eso ondoña ka ando kasante yamane chinjendo dunani endo en lugar va contando endo.
Olga Reina, District 4. I'm here to, hello, City Council. Thank you for having us here. We're here to let you know that housing is a human right, and people are suffering because of the high rents. You cannot pay a high rent like $3,000, $4,000. That's what people are having to pay right now. So rent control is a must right now, and so I'm asking you to consider it as soon as possible, and thank you for your time.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Consuelo Rosales. Yo también les vengo a pedir que tengan un poquito de humanidad, ¿verdad? Creo que todos tenemos derecho a una casa digna. Yo pago $4,500 de renta y creo que si hubiera un programa donde nos dieran la oportunidad a comprar una casa, ¿verdad? Porque creo que el tener una casa es digna para nuestra familia. No podemos estar viviendo en una sola casa, 3, 4 familias, porque sola no puedo pagarlo.
Hello, my name is Consuelo Rosales, and I'm here to ask you to please be human. Housing, it's a right. It's a right for everyone. I have to pay $4,500 in rent for my home. I'm hoping we can have a program, an option, so we can buy our own home. Having a decent home is a right, and 3 or 4 people, families have to live in my home because I can't afford to pay it by myself.
My name is Mary Morsoli, and I'm from District 4. That's where I live. And I just want to ask and kind of plead to reconsider all these things that are happening in Salinas, especially the high rent. And I also want to invite you to go out with us and see the community and ask them about the rent and how they're dealing with it, because it's important, because if you do go out there, you're going to feel the pain of all the persons that are out there suffering. So I would like to invite you to go at least one day with us and try to get to know the people and their concern.
Mi nombre es María Chávez, vivo en el Distrito 4. Me uní a la escuelita porque mi familia fue perjudicada también por los incrementos de renta. Entonces anduve juntando firmas y hubo muchas familias que están más peor que la de nosotros, ya que la de nosotros, nuestros 2 hijos más grandes ya están trabajando. Bueno, una va a la universidad y trabaja medio tiempo, pero también nos ayudan, porque si no, pues no podríamos pagar todo lo que tendríamos que pagar, renta, comida y biles y todo eso. Entonces hay otras familias que sus niños están pequeños. Ahora sí que ellos no tienen ayuda de otras personas y están sufriendo más. ¿Por qué? Porque no ajustan para todos los gastos. Entonces yo les pido, por favor, que traigan a votaciones un control de renta, por favor, porque hay muchas familias que están sufriendo mucho y también personas mayores porque están solas. Nomás están solas allí y pues ellas no pueden pagar todo.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Chavez. I'm from District 4. I joined the Escuelita because my family was affected with a rent increase. I was also helping them gathering signatures. And I noticed while I was doing that there's a lot of families that are worse off than mine. In my case, I have 2 children. They're already in college and working. Well, one is in college and working half-time, but at least they can help us pay some of the expenses. They help us pay rent, food bills. We wouldn't be able to afford it otherwise. But there's other families whose children are young and they don't have the help that we get, and it's really hard for them to make ends meet at the end of the month. So I'm asking you to please vote for rent control. Many families are suffering. They really need it. They're the senior citizens also need this rent control. They're alone and they can't pay all their expenses.
Mi nombre es Nidia Soto y pues estoy aquí igual que todos los compañeros anteriormente hablando y para reconocer el esfuerzo de cada uno de ellos que han estado ahorita en el tiempo de lluvia y con las temperaturas bien frías, todavía poniendo su ánimo de hablar con la comunidad y escuchar sus necesidades que son grandes ahorita por la necesidad de un control de rentas. Vinimos el pasado 6 de febrero y entregamos 600 peticiones y hoy estamos entregando 700 peticiones, lo cual es cada una de esas peticiones es una historia que conmueve a cada una de nosotros porque están usando el 100% y algunos hasta más que no pueden pagar su renta. Entonces, por favor, ¿cuántas veces necesitamos que venir? ¿Cuántas personas necesitamos que venir para que ustedes pongan atención en este asunto que es nuestra comunidad y nuestra ciudad la que está sufriendo? Hay muchas familias desamparadas y cada vez creciendo las familias yéndose a vivir como homeless porque no pueden pagar su renta. Todos, la mayoría, para tener un techo estamos pagando arriba de $4,000, los que podemos. y luchamos cada día, ¿verdad? Entonces, yo agradezco su atención y por favor traigan lo más pronto posible atención a este asunto, que es nuestra comunidad y es la comunidad que ustedes, cada uno de ustedes representa.
Good afternoon. My name is Nidia Soto, and I'm here again asking you to please acknowledge the effort that everybody has done to bring you these signatures. It has been raining, it has been cold. They have put a lot of effort into getting these signatures. Our community needs rent control. On February 6th, we brought 600 petitions. Today, we're bringing 700 more. And each one of these petitions represents a story that we have heard and really compels us. It is people that are paying sometimes 100% or even more of their income for rent. It is people in the community are suffering. They need your help. It is really hard to pay rent. Most of us are paying over $4,000 in rent. And it is really, really hard. Some people end up homeless because they just cannot afford to pay the rent. There's the communities, there are families that are being affected. So these are the communities that you represent. This is an issue, an ongoing issue that we have. How many times do we have to come here and ask you to please acknowledge this and help us? This is the community that each one of you represent.
Hi, Central Coast Community Watch. If you believe there's a difference between Republicans and Democrats, you're part of the problem. There are 450 full-time city employees here, 250 of which make up the police and fire departments. Now, can you guys tell me why 60% of the budget is allocated to less than 1% of the population? These are historically white jobs. Most of the police officers here are white, and most of the firefighters here are white as well. Now, the police unions and the fire union, they started in the 1920s. You know what else happened in the 1920s? The KKK had 50,000 people march through Washington, D.C. with pride. These two came up together. The new council members, you campaigned on change and peace. Now, your 4 years have come, your multiple years have come, and all you're doing is maintaining the status quo of Kimberly, McShane, and Barrera. Until we are able to realize that we must abolish qualified immunity and dismantle the police and fire unions, cities across the country will continue to bicker about budget and funds. Just because these unions, they decided that these are dangerous jobs and require six-figure salaries. Yet hairstylists have to go through more training than police and firefighters. Police and firework aren't even in the top 10 of the most dangerous jobs in the United States. You're more likely to die on the job being a landscaper or a roofer. Understaffing claims and slow call for service response times are classic police union tactics akin to organized crime protection rackets. The districts that contribute the most money get the fastest response times and the most police presence. The Supreme Court of the United States has ruled multiple times that it is not the job of police to protect the citizens. We could look at District of Columbia versus Warren, 1981, Castle Rock versus Gonzalez, 2005. The people must take the power back.
Thank you.
Si vis pacem,
Thank you.
para bellum.
Good evening. My name is Eric Peterson, and there was an interesting news item about a week ago. While homelessness in the United States increased 12% last year, in the Chattanooga area, it went down approximately 50%. Why? They've got three things going there, and they apparently take all three seriously. One is to create housing. We're trying to do that. Another is to try to provide services. We're trying to do that. But a big difference, they have eviction control. They have agencies working to keep people in homes. They have agencies working with the landlords to make the landlords whole. At a meeting last year, we had a pretty good turnout of landlords, and one of our council members commented that they're the good guys. Well, I've got personal experience with one of the so-called good guys. He evicted me, and the reason he gave me was because he could get more money from somebody else. There's a word for that, greed. And I'm sure that incident was not isolated. I'm sure that individual has done that to other people, and I'm sure that individual isn't the only one doing that to people here. We need to get, I think the idea about the eviction control is a great one. Keep people in their homes. Help them if they need help. Help the landlords if they need help.
Hello, thank you. My name is Luis Ruiz.
Trust me, I'm a combat vet.
From what I understand, there is allocated money that was supposed to go to underdeveloped areas in our community to help as far as infrastructure, fixing potholes, roads, and sidewalks. I'd like to know how I can find out where that money's being allocated to. I live in South Salinas, and it's beautiful. Everything's beautiful there. But I grew up on the east side of Salinas, and those sidewalks are still messed up. Some of them still need some work, and I would just like to understand where the money's being allocated to and see where we can all work together to maybe create a plan to stay focused and to continue to move forward. I think that's very important. You're only as fast as your slowest person, so let's start helping the people at the bottom so we can all move together. Thank you.
Hello, Wes White, Salinas Monterey County Homeless Union co-president. Just wanted to give more praise, I suppose, to council members, and I'm sure more of you would have showed up to the pallet shelter exhibition out in Monterey. There is a government grant, California State, for 1,200 units to be purchased by the state. Probably help you get at least 100 people or something. That's like $2 million, just $20,000 a unit, and $50,000 for one with a toilet and shower. And that was their prices. I'm sure we could do a lot less, and it's just that sanctioned encampment is still rolling around. Hopefully it'll make an agenda item soon. And, I've been trying to reach out, let's collaborate. We've talked about some properties, and honestly, I think you could save the most money by making it self-efficient, a rules-run tent community, kind of like an apartment complex, not where you have a security going all around. These are adults, and I think you can treat them as such. The better you treat them, the better they'll behave, the more human they become, and the more reintegrated into community and, society, be a productive member of society. That's what we want to see. If that's really what we want to see, then we need to see running water and electricity, allow them to have the housing that they already have. That's affordable. That's what they can afford. Nobody else spend any money on it. And allow them some dignity and decency. Everybody needs a door that locks, and that is the supreme thing. But anywhere throughout the city, during shelter in place, we had CDC guidelines. We had one porta potty for every 10 people. We had dumpsters. We had availability for laundry and showers and cooking. We had meals going directly to them, bottled water. We weren't making them move along. We can do this. It took being scared that those people might kill us to leave them alone, and we need to do better. So stop the sweeps. Hello, Wes White, Salinas Monterey County Homeless Union, co-president. Really, we saw need affordable housing. Housing is a human right, and yet we're going to do a sweep. We're spending an awful lot of money getting rid of people, but where is the money, especially for people that are signed up for SORT, which we helped create, by the way. Your whole team, that's how it started during shelter in place, and that's actually what we are demanding right now is, organized space that has running water and electricity. I actually talked to Mr. Pia about this, and he kind of gave me a pretty bad grimace, which kind of goes to like the mean-spiritedness of this whole culture. Why do you send everyone to the tracks and then UP comes along? Well, it's private property, so we can't do anything about it. But you took away the porta potties and the dumpsters at the same time. There's no running water on Soledad Street, which there could be because there's 4 sinks. We talk about, remember Hep A, and we talk about washing hands and everything, but do we mean it? Whose health? Whose safety? Because you're about to take away everybody's possessions while it's raining for the next 2 weeks. It's not me, it's UP. How did they end up on the tracks? Who put them there? The city did. Last April. Took everything everybody got. They have to buy more. That's a major expense. To buy tarps, tents, clothes, food, everything. And their pets, their families. It's ridiculous the way that we spend money and administer and say, oh, not my problem. How is it not your problem? You're actually putting people's lives at risk by sending SORT team out there after oh, don't worry, we'll take care of you. But first, let me take everything you got. That's theft. It's a raid. When are we going to start treating people like humans? Or are they human? Are they vermin to be abated? Is that your attitude? Because those are the signals that you're sending to people. You want to see them die early in life. You should be supporting them. You got plenty of money to do it. Stop the sweeps.
Thank you. My name is Tomas Moreno. I just wanted a kind of a reminder, since it's talking about other things, but about the rent. You know, it's about controlling those tenant. I mean, not the tenants, the owners, the rent, the other people. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just so we can hear you.
Just to control the owners and the managers and all them, because they're over here trying to find excuses to get rid of people just so that they can rent it out for double, triple these places, and it's ridiculous. I mean, they want to raise everything, but they don't care that everybody might have to, live 3, 4, 5 families in a little place and just become happy slaves for everybody else. It's not right. Well, everybody else is coming from other countries, faraway countries, because they got money, and then they can rent these places to them, and yet everybody has to huddle in one little place while these foreigners come in with a lot of money from other places and end up, renting these places with no problem because they got the money. When you should be concerned about the people who live here already and help them out and stop letting this rent getting out of hand from these landlords and owners and people. It's just ridiculous. It's not about just nodding our head and, oh yeah, poor guys. No, do something about it. Control them.
Hello, Wes White, Salinas, Monterey County Homeless Union, co-president. Worried about the amendment to service agreement for removal of unlawful campsites with Smith & Enright from $95,000 to $345,000. That's like $250,000. That's $250,000. I think in 2018 or so, we were paying them $250,000 a year, $15,000 a one, and I think you guys blocked $1 million one, and then they got given a $4 million one. So, what do they need money for? Besides unlawful campsites, if you're signing people up for services, you should afford people an address, somewhere they can be 24 hours a day, so then that way they're separated as being harmless, not homeless. Especially the people that you claim to be serving. You're going to be wiping out a bunch of people. As soon as people get ripped off the tracks, they're going to go onto city property. And what's going to happen? Job security. You can't be here. Where are they supposed to be? With what? In the wet. And you don't think they're going to get health risks from that? You don't think anybody's going to get pneumonia or possibly worse? We're not serving people. We're feeding ourselves all kinds of money on elite class of people who just laugh at people that are on unfortunate circumstances. This is not all by their own doing. You can tell all kinds of people are ending up out of their houses, out of their homes, into the streets. They are your residents. They are our sisters and brothers. And we need to take it more seriously than we're doing. And just by driving people out, saying you can't be here, and taking everything they got, that's unconstitutional. We should have the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, dignity, decency, and dominion over our own lives. And if we can't afford rent, then why is the punishment you can't have anything? We need to do it different, and paying these guys is not the way to go.
Ms. Warden?
I was forced to go on Front Street and to come over the overpass to Market Street before I came here. And the people that are camping along the railroad track is ridiculous. I mean, it's sad, really sad. When we've got a huge lot where we have the carnival, that we could put a great big huge tent there, let them bring their own little tents so they could have their own little individual things there. At least they would be out of the rain and out of the mud, and maybe have the porta potty. And I know we have the trailers with the little showers. At least they treat them as human beings. It's really sad to see these people, and no matter how much I try to help them, there isn't enough. We need to find something that we could do as a city and the railroad to fix it, so get all that. You know, we rode the train from here to Seattle. I did not see that anywhere in Oregon or in Washington. Only when we got down to, from San Jose on, that we saw all this. It really is sad when you see all these people coming on the train and seeing this. It's a disgrace for us. We could do something better, but we need maybe the railroad working with us to get someplace where we could put them all and where they'd be a little safer and warmer. Thank you.
I want to thank La Escuelita. You know, these folks, they're not charity cases. They're hardworking people. But the reality in Salinas and even other cities, I mean, think about it. To pay $4,000 rents. You know, and these folks are looking for some support. Mr. Callahan, I know I've reached out to our state officials. Maybe there is something, and one of the ladies did say, how many times do we have to come up here to get some kind of answer? And I think we should be in a place where we can talk to them about what is possible that we can do. Or maybe we can't do anything, I don't know. But I think we need to address this group. It's, for them to bring in 600 signatures and now 700 signatures, they're doing a lot of work. And we need to address that with building healthy communities in Mi Escuelita. Also,